Hi, good evening to all. So today's topic is now types of banking. It is an important topic of banking theory. Types of banking are as follows. The first one is a branch banking. The name itself it has a lot of branches. Refers to a system under which two or more banks are open under a single ownership. It has managed by a single ownership or a single organization. It has a lot of branches, two or more banks now open all over the India. Example SBI, Nana Punjab National Bank, Indian Bank, etc., which have several branches now spread all over India. These banks have now several branches. The next banking services is now unit banking. Unit means the single one. Refers to that system of banking in which the banking operations are carried on through a single organization without any branches. It doesn't have the branches operated by a single organization or a single individual. These kinds of banking is called unit banking. The system is used not to be popular in USA. The system is very popular in USA. It has the advantage that its efforts are concentrated in one area so that it can serve that area well. It focuses limited area only. So it will concern more about that area only through providing banking services. The next one is a group banking. This is a system under which two or more banks separately incorporated are connected by being controlled by a single holding company as a trust. It may be bank or may not. It has two or more banks but operated by a single holding company. It's called a group banking. The next one is chain banking. This is similar to group banking. Here two or more banks are controlled by a single group through the ownership of shares or otherwise. Here the banking services now are operating by the group of people. It may be the bank or may not. Next one is the deposit banking. In this category, the banks act as the custodian or the trustees of the depositors. These kind of a banking system accept deposits from the people and safeguard their resources, especially monetary resources. It's called the deposit banking. Next one is a correspondent banking system. It is one which connects the two banks under a unit banking system. Example RBI or a central bank. It doesn't have any branches. One country should have one RBI, one central bank. In USA also now, it has only one central bank as the federal bank. The next one is the investment banking. It refers to banks now whose main function is to provide finance for investment to industrial concerns. These banking services now usually provide financial services now to the industrial purposes to develop the industrial field. They provide this by purchasing shares under the debentures of newly floated companies. The fund will arrange by the issuing the shares and debentures through which the banking services provide to the industrial people. The next one is the mixed banking. most the most banks play both roles in India: deposit banking and the investment banking. Such type of banking is called mixed banking. It is a mixed of both deposit banking and investment banking. It's called mixed banking. The next topic is the disadvantages or demerits of a branch banking. Branch banking has some limitations. These are as follows. The first one is the danger of mismanagement. Number of difficulties as regards management, supervision and control. Number of branches and expansions lead the danger of mismanagement. Because the branch banking has a number of branches, n number of branches, so it will be more difficult to manage and supervise and control. It leads that the mismanagement occurs. It leads to the mismanagement. Delays in decision making. It also suffers from a red tape and the delay on account of the inadequate authority of the branch managers. Because more power, more the authority now holds by the headquarters. So the red tape pile is more. They are waiting for to get the permission from the headquarters. Once get the permission, they will proceed. They don't take own decisions according to the management. Usually application for big credits has to be referred to the head office by the branch manager. Branch manager should ask the head office for issuing big credits to the public. This causes delays and gives little initiative to branch managers. That's why the customers feel delay to get the credit, because branch managers have little initiative here. Next one is lack of personal contact. A large bank tends to become more and more impersonal in its dealings. They don't directly contact with the people. The general managers have hardly any personal contact within the local people or the staff of the different branches. The branch managers is a little time to contact with the local people as well as the staff in different branches. The next one is high operating and maintenance expenses. Branch banking is very expensive because with the opening of too many branches, establishment and maintenance charges are bound to be high, and as a result the profits may shrink. Because it has a number of branches, so to maintain these banks, huge amount will require in the form of electricity, rent, and the technology wise. So many expenses occur. And then time consuming also is lot scale. Next one is a concentration of monopoly power in the hands of a few banker. It sometimes creates monopoly power in the hands of a few large bankers. Monopoly power means the power cannot alter to the other person. The power held by some people the banking sector. It's a source of danger to the community whose goal is a socialistic pattern of a society. It causes danger to the particular society. The next one is lack of initiative. Branch banking lacks initiative. No branch banking can take independent decisions, and also branch managers has limited powers because the lot of powers are held by the headquarters managers. So the branch managers that doesn't have branch managers that don't have enough power to take quick decisions. Regional imbalances. Branch banking encourages regional imbalances. The financial resources of the economically backward areas tend to get transferred to industrial and business centers. The revenue generated by the backward area banks transferred that the resource will transfer to the industrial and the business centers to develop those areas, due to which backward areas continue to be neglected and remain over backward. For that reason, the backward areas remain the backward always. If the branch bank generates the revenue from the backward area, that money should allot for that backward area only. No need to transfer to industrial and business centers. It is one of the purposes of the branch banking. Thank you. We will see you again with another session. Until then, stay tuned and stay blessed. Bye.